Can we have a frank discussion about theft in the yarn community? Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Gamer Crafting Podcast. I am Angie, Indie Dyer, and General Mess. This past weekend we went to Waltham Abbey Wool Show, which is just up the road from us, and as always we had an amazing time. We had a stand next to Lola of Third Vault Yarns, and so we sort of connected our stands together because we were launching a collaboration, which I believe is now all sold out, which was really fun, and met a lot of amazing people and talked to some amazing people, and that was really fun. I do want to say though, before I get started, that I will be talking a little bit about theft in the yarn community and at yarn shows and stuff during this episode, but in no way do I mean to sort of like implicate or blame the organizers of shows. Like, there's not really very much that show organizers can do to combat this. It's a really difficult thing to deal with, and any sort of methods that people may suggest in order to try and fix it, like added security or undercover security, that stuff all would add, you know, quite a lot of cost to the yarn shows in a way that most people, vendors and visitors alike, probably wouldn't be willing to absorb, like to pay for, and it's not the kind of cost that they would be able to absorb. So in no way am I meant to sort of be snarking on the organizers. This is absolutely not an issue with them. So with that said, I wanted to just kind of quickly show you what Waltham Abbey was like for us. All right, hey everyone, so we're actually doing the live stream right now. Everybody say hi! We're doing a live stream right now, but it's the night before Waltham Abbey. Lola from Third Vault Yarns is here. Hello! Hey. And we're just getting ready for the show tomorrow, which we have to leave super early for. I realized I probably should have been taking some footage earlier when we were starting to set up and other things, but I didn't because I forgot.
Screaming at the printer.
Or when I was screaming at the printer, and then I hit the printer, and hitting the printer somehow made it work. So, you know, I don't know. We were at it for like over an hour trying to get it to print, and then I was finally like, "Arr!" and I just smacked it on the front, and then it worked. Anyway, stay tuned. Okay, good morning. It is the day of Waltham Abbey Wool Show. It is before 6 a.m. and I've been up for, I don't know, half an hour already, and I'm regretting all of my life decisions. Getting up at this time in the morning just always sucks regardless. And I went to bed too late last night given how early I'm up this morning, and I really just want to go back to bed. And I'm thinking I'm gonna have to bribe myself with food and or coffee. Definitely and. Okay, so we've arrived at the venue for Waltham Abbey Wool Show. I'm pretty sure this sheep has a name, but I don't remember its name, so I'm sorry. So we're about to start getting everything set up, and I'm very tired, and I need approximately 47 liters of coffee. We're gonna make it though. I think we're gonna make it, maybe. Alright, Lola's gone off to find a tea, and we are here, and we are working on setting up. Don't worry, you're not in the shot.
You gave me the shot.
My lovely, beautiful, stunning wife, who is diligently dealing with the badges and our lovely new backing cards. Well, look at those. Aren't those cool? And this is new. This is Ray's lightsaber. And yeah, everything looks like kind of a mess. You'll see we don't have our grids this time because we had a friend drive us. We didn't have our own car. We didn't bring the grids. And I think we're gonna be all right without the grids. The grids are the bane of my existence. And we've got a bunch of new mini skeins that all have little labels on them now. And then my collaboration from Lola, half of it's here. There it is, there's half of it. I don't know how much we'll have after today, but we'll see. So Lola and I are launching this collaboration today based on The Expanse. And so we each dyed a yarn. Here they are. So this one's mine, and this one's Lola's. And here's the beautiful cowl that she designed. And we're launching it today, and I don't know how many we'll have left at the end of the show. We'll have to see. But it's very exciting. Hooray! This is the most excitement that I can muster up at this time in the morning on this little sleep. So you're all welcome. All right, so we are 3 minutes into the opening. Our lovely sign and the lovely emo rainbow sock blanks and the lovely pins on the new backing cards, flyers, and project bags. Got some floof in there. This is all of the new collection stuff that is making a quiet outing here at Waltham Abbey. So we've got some of the new burned rainbows, and we've got some of the new witch sets that are here. Sparkly stuff, hey babe. And we've got mini skates, and we've got Lola. And then here's our lovely collaboration. I don't know if we'll have any left at the end of the day. This is the Tenet Terra collaboration, slightly earlier in the year. And these are some awesome mitts. What's the name of this pattern for the mitts?
Woven Together.
Woven Together is the name of these mitts. And look at, I love that detail. And they're super comfy. I already stole one and put it on. And some lovely bamboo, and some lovely Irish wool, and some lovely lovelies, of course, over here. Yay. Wait, where's the one that I really like? Is it this one? Yep, it's this one. I'm always drawn to this one. Angie being drawn to green yarn. Who would have thought? This is called Cosmic Turtle, and Lola dyed it. I think it's beautiful. Anyway. Hey! So I have left out a video that we took at the end of the day because we were both so tired and exhausted that it didn't make a lot of sense. I was kind of just rambling about nothing really. So basically, the show was really good. It's only up the road from us, so that's not a huge deal. But because our car is still non-functional, we had to hire a friend of ours to sort of ferry us back and forth, which was honestly an A+ decision on our part because he helped us carry our stuff up and down. And given that after Waltham Abbey, I was in a lot of pain, like a lot of back pain, it was really nice to have somebody else heft all the stuff up the stairs and not have to have Sarah make like 14 trips up and down to get everything up here. So A+ decision on our part. It was definitely made for a long day, but it was a nice day. You know, long days can still be nice days, but they are exhausting. It definitely takes us a good few days to recover from a yarn show. It definitely takes a few days to kind of get used to, you know, like peopling again, and, you know, and just feeling like you're not super exhausted, which I usually am after a show. It's a lot of peopling, and it's a lot of prep work, and you know how sometimes your body can kind of just keep going as you sort of crest over this hill of like giant monolith of things to do, and then after you do the giant monolith of things, you sort of just go you can't keep up that level of energy and everything. So like after you do all the things, your body is like, oh, okay, we're done now. And then you end up getting sick with a cold, which is, I'm pretty sure, what's happening to me now. Again, not unusual after a show. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of bodies in this space, you know, you're handling a lot of money, cash and stuff. So I'm unsurprised that I woke up with the sniffles this morning, and I am wearing foundation on my face for the first time not involving a stage production, I think, ever in my life, which obviously says that I have quite a lot of like clear skin privilege. But like the exhaustion and tiredness like is making my skin look really red and uneven, and it was making me feel really insecure when I was going back to look at the video footage, and I know that I'm not setting a very good example there with the whole, you know, body positivity and stuff. But you know, I put a picture and a video of my belly up for everyone to see last week. There's limits. There's limits to how much I can handle in a month. Okay, so with that said, I wanted to quickly show you what I got at Waltham Abbey. I didn't have very much time for very many stash acquisitions, I will be honest. It was such a busy day that I really only had about 20 minutes at the end to run around and say a very quick hello to people that I wanted to say hello to. So I did get the first two things that I bought. I bought these two fabulous faux fur pom-poms for hats that I want to make. So this one is obviously very rainbow and very large and floofy, and this one is sort of like oranges and purples. Yes, my hands are like super stained from dyeing yarn. I mean, shock, right? So because I, over Christmas, started working on an Alaska hat, and as you can see, it's taking me about 10 million years to work on the ribbing, but that's because I've been trying to work on other things too, and my time in the evenings is right now divided between knitting and trying to catch up on orders and also trying to write. So yeah. So anyway, so this is all I have done so far, but I'm almost done with the ribbing, maybe another couple of inches, and then I will be able to start the actual colorwork portion of the hat. And I'm still going back and forth as to what mini skein. I decided I definitely want to use mini skeins, I think. But I'm still going back and forth as to which mini skeins I want to use. I took a couple of sets to my Stitch and Bitch group last week, and they all gave me their thoughts, and I thought that I was decided, but maybe now I'm not. I don't know. I just need to decide and just wind it and just do it. So here's the ribbing so far. I'm using one of my yarns. It's called Sneck. So it's sort of like a charcoaly gray, but it's got sort of pops of color, which I really enjoy, and I think that'll work well for this sort of silhouette trees. So I was looking for a pom-pom for this hat, really, and so at first I saw the giant rainbow one, and I was like, that's amazing, I love that and I need that. But then I thought, well, the colors that I have picked out for this hat are sort of more like orangey reds, sort of more of like a purpley orange red sunset, and I was like, I don't know that this is right. So then I picked up this one, which I feel probably will be right for the hat, but then I couldn't put this one back because I really liked it, and I thought, well, maybe I need another hat that needs a giant rainbow pom-pom. So I haven't decided what that hat's gonna be yet, but very exciting. And then I stopped by, I'm sitting on some of my stuff. I stopped by Snuggly Stars Yarns stand with Gemma because she's a lovely, lovely human. And she is a Hiya stockist. So I bought some more yarn needles because I swear I buy these by the dozens and they always end up lost, even though I have bought the clover ones before that come in the little tube. Still gone, lost. Where do they go? I don't know. I bet when we move, I'm gonna find like 58 million yarn needles and like DPNs and stitch markers stuck in the sides of the couch. That's what my prediction is. And I also got some little panda point protectors because this current project doesn't really need it because I can pull the needles through. But I'm working on a couple of things where it's, I don't know, it's a little bit tight with the cord and the needles, and so I figure that will be good for that. And I also stopped by, I also got this from Gemma, this cute little iron-on rainbow patch, because if you saw me at Waltham Abbey, I have a new coverall boiler suit that I'm starting to add patches to, and I couldn't find my needle and thread before, so I had him like safety pinned on like I was a 14-year-old who fell face first into a Hot Topic. Black safety pins holding my patches on instead of sewing them on, and most of the ones that I have are not iron-on, but then I find that iron-on patches tend to be dubious at best. And then I also stopped by a stand that had some washi tape, which I, of course, had to get, especially with, if you missed my announcement a few weeks ago, I have started a new YouTube channel with my author pen name, and I'm doing a lot of bullet journaling over there, so obviously I had to pick up some washi tape. I got some that's kind of like watercolor-y looking, and then some that has little sheeps, which will be good for project tracking pages, I think. So that's really fun. But that's all I got from Waltham Abbey. I didn't have very much time. Sorry that this is wobbling a little bit. I literally have my phone stand set up on top of the couch in front of me to try and keep from the light being too harsh, so apologies. So that's all I got from Waltham Abbey. I didn't really have time to look around or do much else other than just like whip around and say hello to everybody, all the friends that we've made on the show circuit. But it's always a really good show, and it's, you know, it's really kind of close by to us, and it's a really nice sort of friendly vibe there, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. We don't have any other shows currently booked in for the rest of the year because of a lot of uncertainty with regards to immigration status, and we're not really sure what's going to happen. We know that we have to move this year one way or another, and we don't know where we're going to end up moving to, whether it's going to be within the UK or not. And we don't know, like, there's just a lot going on, so we didn't want to, like, add loads and loads of yarn shows on top of it, because that might actually break me as a person. Anyway, so kind of just taking a couple steps back, talking about all the friends that we've made on the yarn show circuit. You see a lot of the same people. You're gonna go, you see people, sometimes you'll go out for dinner, or you'll go out for drinks, or you'll help each other out, or, lend somebody some change or whatever, from your cash flow if they're running low. Of course you're gonna make friends on the show circuit. Everyone's, for the most part, everyone's really friendly, and they're really, willing to help out and chatty, and obviously we all have a shared interest, right? So we always have something to talk about. So it really upsets me and bums me out when I hear that people have stuff stolen from them at yarn shows. It has happened to us in the past, and it's happened to, I think, almost probably every vendor at one point or another if they have done more than one yarn show. It's a really unfortunate thing, but it's also kind of unavoidable. Like I said towards the beginning of the podcast, there's not really a lot that we can do to stop it. If you have like a bricks and mortar shop, there's security tags and the things that beep when you walk through them. Obviously that's totally unrealistic for a yarn show, and there's not really much that we can do. You try to keep an eye on your stock, but a lot of times my belief is that the people that are stealing stuff are probably people who steal stuff on a regular basis from other shops as well. Like, they've got their techniques down. And so it was kind of disappointing coming back yesterday, and I was going through and I was doing, inventory, counting everything back in so that I know what needs to go back up in the shop and what we sold out of, to discover that a couple of things, both the same colorway, in my case, same colorway, same yarn base, were definitely pilfered, because it's a very memorable shade. I definitely didn't sell it to anyone, and neither did Sarah. So it's one of those things, and it was also one of those things that was compounded by the fact that when, as we were packing up from the show, I saw that somebody placed an order for one, and I was like, oh, well, that's no problem, because there's two of them here at the show and neither of them sold, I thought, in the afternoon, as I was checking my phone, as I was taking a little bit of a break behind the stand, because I was like, oh, my back hurts so bad, I'm gonna die. So anyway, and then, you're realizing as you're going through stuff and being like, right, we're going to pack up that order, and then it's not there. Well, then it kind of messes up my whole dye schedule. So it messes up dyeing of clubs towards the end of the month. And, normally I would dye clubs earlier in the month, but because of Waltham Abbey, we were dyeing other things for Waltham Abbey. So the clubs are getting dyed now. And so then it messes up the whole dye schedule, because as you can see, I don't have a lot of space to work with. I can only be dyeing 3 things at a time. I can't be dyeing any more than that, because I don't have any more workspaces. I don't have any more heating implements to be dyeing. So then it messes up your whole dye schedule, and the more you think about it, the more it really irritates you, because then you have to contact a customer and say, I'm really sorry, we were supposed to have enough of this in stock, but it's been stolen, so you're gonna have to wait a few extra days while I go ahead and I dye it, and then, obviously it has to dry and then, get labeled and sent out. So then it's not just affecting me and my dye schedule, it's also affecting whoever decided to buy this particular colorway and weight of yarn. And I know that I wasn't the only one, but like I said, this happens at nearly every show. It's almost impossible to avoid. What can you do? You can do your best to sort of keep your eye trained, on your stock, but again, if it's people that know what they're doing, if they steal stuff from stores, on a regular basis, then they're going to be utilizing, distraction techniques or whatever. And I know that there's been in the past some quite big thefts at yarn shows that have very detrimentally affected the small businesses that were stolen from. People who had, entire cash floats stolen, or people who had, over 100 pounds worth of stock stolen from their stand. I feel it's crappy that I feel lucky that it was only 2 skeins of yarn. I mean, like, you shouldn't feel lucky that that's, it's only 2 skeins of yarn. And I know, I used to work retail, and I used to work retail management, and I know that's, for a lot of these big companies, shrink, as they call it, is something that is kind of planned for, because, as I said, theft is basically inevitable, even in the bricks and mortar stores, if they have, the security gates, even if they have cameras, there's always going to be a level of theft. It's basically unavoidable. But we're not big corporations. We don't have big budgets to just kind of absorb that into. And like I said, it was only 2 skeins of yarn this time. But I don't know. I just feel like there's not a lot that we can do, and you feel a bit kind of powerless. You feel a bit hopeless to it. But it's going to come to a point where if it continues to happen, and it continues to happen, at worsening rates, then small businesses are just going to have to put their prices up in order to cover for the amount of stock that's being stolen. And it's as though basically every business has this at basically every show to an extent. I'm extra annoyed because it messed up my dye schedule, so that's why I'm being a little bit extra crabby about it this time around, because I'm like, well, now I have to sort of shift everything back half a day as I, move to redo this stuff that I should have had but got stolen. So I'm a bit extra crabby about it, for sure. But like I said, it's not unusual. It happens to almost everyone at almost every show, and it's almost impossible to avoid. So I don't really know what the purpose of this is, other than just complaining, because it's not like you can even really self-police it. I mean, I guess if you see someone covertly stuffing yarn into their bag, then maybe say something. But like I said, you're not going to see that. If it was that obvious, like, the vendors themselves would probably notice people stuffing yarn by the handfuls into their tote bags, but that's not the case. So I don't know. I guess I just kind of wanted to just have a little bit of a rant about it, because there's not really much that can be done. There's not a whole lot that we can do, but I guess just to kind of let people know that it's not unusual, and that it's not an isolated occurrence, and that it happens to basically everyone at basically every show, as far as I've heard, to varying degrees, right? Like I said, there are some people who have been way more affected than us, having lots and lots of stock stolen, or having their cash flow, their money box stolen. Like, those are thefts that are going to impact you a lot more than a couple of skeins of yarn. But I think a lot of people don't realize how pervasive it is, and they don't realize how common it is. And, well, like I said, there's not a lot that we can do. I keep saying that, but having extra security, I don't know, it might help, but then that's a lot of cost because one of 2 things has to happen. If the show organizers hire a bunch of security to, like, wander around, first of all, there's no guarantee that that's going to work, because even at stores that have security, stuff still gets stolen. And second of all, that's a lot of cost. It's a very significant cost. So either they're going to have to absorb that, which is going to make them a lot less likely to want to run a yarn show, because they, won't be really making back any kind of money, which, given the amount of time that goes into planning and organizing yarn shows, of course they should get paid for their time. Or they're going to have to pass that cost on either to vendors, who probably wouldn't appreciate that much of a price increase, or they're going to have to pass it on to visitors, who also wouldn't appreciate that much of a price increase. So there's not really loads of solutions, other than, if you're somebody who steals from yarn shows, just, like, don't. Basically every business you're going to see at a yarn show, especially shows that are mostly indie dyer focused, or people who have, cutesy things like this, or the washi tape or patches, or people who are needle stockists or whatever. We're small businesses. There's There's not a lot of absorption we can take before it's going to start seriously impacting our ability to do business. And if it seriously impacts our ability to do business, then we're not going to do business anymore. And then everybody loses. You know, the honest people who are more than happy to pay people for their time and their efforts won't have anybody to pay anymore for their time and efforts. And the people who ran the businesses will go and do something else. That's all there really is to it. So this is going to be a little bit shorter-ish, I guess, this week, in that I am still quite tired, as you can, I don't know if you can see, and yeah, you can now that I've moved my head, though I still have to go through all of that. Those are the boxes with all of our pin badges in them, the enamel pins. I still have to go through all of those and put everything back, and at least all the yarn is put away, but I think those need to find a new home now anyway, because they were getting kind of annoying where they were stored before. So I'm still pretty tired. The light is fading. I really want to just like have some lunch and go play some video games, I guess, with my wife, and knit some more on my lovely Alaska hat, and then make a decision on what yarns I'm going to use for this sort of background. And then I also want to cast on a framework bralette. A few months ago I did a podcast where I showed off my ripple bralette, and I really enjoy it. I really like wearing it to just kind of like hang around, and I think that the design of it is very innovative, and it's obviously very size inclusive. And this framework bralette, I really like the look of it, and it's knitted in DK, so it won't take me as long as the 4-ply, which didn't even really take me too long, because it's not, I mean, like the pattern itself, like it was probably similar-ish to a hat, I guess, if you're talking about like actually amount that you're knitting, probably similar to like a 4-ply hat. So not, I mean, that makes you think, well, why am I not done with this yet? Well, I don't know, maybe I don't know. Anyway, my point is I'm going to be casting on a framework bralette, and I'm going to be using reverse Ravicorn in DK. I did wind it up. It's back behind the couch somewhere. I'm very sorry. Maybe if I've cast it on, I'll show you next week. So that's what I'm going to do, as well as everything else. If you are somebody who purchased a Level Up box towards the end of last month, we did have a couple of significant delays. We had 2 of our heating implements die on the same day, which was really fun. And then it took like the better half a week to get them replaced appropriately. That kind of put a delay in things. And then the supplier for the main extra, which is amazing, I'm really excited about it, was kind of not necessarily giving us the runaround, but kind of, and also it took a long time to kind of go back and forth and get clear answers and stuff. There was a bit of miscommunication there that can probably just be put down to like beginning of the year, everyone's a bit ugh. But anyway, they will be arriving very soon, and then as soon as they arrive, we're going to, because the yarn is all dyed, it's in a basket over there, not behind me, the basket's over there, and the yarn's already been dyed, so as soon as that last extra arrives, we are going to have our friend come back and hopefully help us just kind of pack them all up in one day, and then we're gonna ship them on out, and then you will have them very soon. So I'm very sorry about the delay if you're somebody who purchased the Level Up box, but that's what's going on with that. So it was kind of stuff that was, you know, sort of out of our control, which happens. And it was probably my own fault for thinking that things would go really smoothly kind of over the holidays, which was silly of me really in retrospect. But in any case, they will definitely all ship out next week, so you won't have too much longer to wait, and I hope that you all really like it. We did sort of juice up and add a couple of extras, so I hope that that makes it worth it. And all the clubs will also ship next week, including the brand new blanket club. Well, I mean, there was a blanket club last year, but it had a different theme. The blanket club, minis, mystery club, and space, they will all ship next week by the end of the month. So yeah, exciting news, exciting days. I'm gonna go have some lunch. I think I'm gonna poach some eggs and be all, you know, bougie. I don't have any avocados though, so maybe I'll buy a house tomorrow since I'm not having avocados today. I know that's an internet joke. In any case, thank you all so much for watching. Definitely have an excellent weekend / week whenever you're watching this. do something nice for someone today. Even if it's just, you know, taking out the garbage for your other half or making dinner or something. Just do something nice for someone today. And I hope you get some crafting time in, or whatever it is you're doing. And we will be back on Saturday, this Saturday, with a live stream as per usual, our live stream gaming and crafting chat. And we will be playing the new Frostpunk DLC, so the new Frostpunk content, which is really exciting. I know how much you guys like Frostpunk, so we'll be playing Frostpunk. And I will be back next week with a podcast about something. Maybe I'll be able to show you some progress on something. Maybe not. It just kind of depends on how my week goes. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe and drop a comment down below if you feel so inclined. Thanks everybody. See you later. Sorry, this is Angie post-stream. I just, as I was taking the Instagram picture, I just really wanted to show you a close-up of what Sneck looks like, because I feel like when I was holding it up, I didn't really capture it. So I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like actually in real life. So as you can see, it's mostly sort of this charcoaly gray, but there's these little pops of color that come through. Sorry, I really like this yarn, and I wanted to show you kind of what it actually looks like. Did I drop a stitch there? No. Anyway, this is post-vlog Angie out.